Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Dear Anybody, the collection of letters that I'm reading on behalf of my late father, Jimmy Hodge, who every day in 1999 wrote a sort of letter to himself and compiled it into a fairly thick book of letters written in 1999 to commemorate the sort of tipping into the millennium. Today is the 21st of February. A couple of sort of things my dad was looking at. Apparently in Paris there was a statue that was being vandalised near to where Princess Diana came to a tragic end in Paris, and there was quite a kerfuffle that this Parisian statue had been vandalised, but no one was clearing it up, and the council said, well, we will get around to it, basically, and that then provoked the thought of, which was only 2 years earlier, of course, the tragic death of Diana, which outpoured so much for so many, was, I think, probably my dad's view was it was a bit over the top, and my personal opinion was that, yes, given that most people hadn't met or seen her, it seemed a little bit one of those mass hysteria things, but hey, I'm probably in the minority. Then Dad went on to actually have one of his idols, which is ironic, isn't it, really? He was talking about Doris Day and how in her early career he was absolutely smitten by her, unknown to his wife. And, he'd sort of watched her in a flea pit theatre in Calcutta, on a rolling ship in the Indian Ocean, somewhere else in a barracks down in Plymouth, and then would be playing all her records to destruction, and so he clearly was a bit in love with Doris Day, as is my good lady. And also, when he was a theatre critic, he would sit through numerous versions of Calamity Jane over the years, and but he couldn't help feeling that Doris Day was the number one for Calamity Jane. So he was talking about her, but then apparently he turned over a page of a newspaper today and saw that there she was. She was 75 years old and not looking quite the young sylph-like Doris Day that he'd fallen in love with, and just bemoaning the fact a bit that we all get a bit older. Now, of course, my dad was in his probably mid-60s then, of course, so he was still a bit younger, really, but I'm sure he probably grew to be a little bit more generous about the ageing process as he got older. Other than that, really, Bernard Ingram, Sir Bernard Ingram, the PS today was Sir Bernard Ingram. Now, I think that was Margaret Thatcher's press officer back in the day, and he'd been arrested at some police station for some misdemeanour, and was rather surprised to find that the newspaper reporters had turned up and was bemoaning the fact that they had. But apparently Dad always got tip-offs from police officers and the like, so they would often be there very quick to cover something like that. And I do remember my dad, I'm not sure if he did it twice a day, once in the morning maybe, and certainly at 10 o'clock at night, every night during my youth time at home. In 18 years I was at home, he'd always phone at 10 o'clock, and it was fire to the police, ambulance and fire brigade. And it always, like, any news, any gossip, any scandal, anything to report. Can I speak to the duty officer, please? And it was, a accepted fact that a police officer might say, yes, we've got a crash here, or we're attending a scene there. And so Jimmy would be on the phone to his newspaper journalist, photographer, whose name was John Mellor, who was a great guy, apparently, and I do remember meeting him, and went to the Slough studios to see Thunderbirds being filmed back in the day, and John Mellor and my dad took me, my uncle and John's son, to go and see that. But anyway, so he would dispatch his photographer out to go and take the pictures and be first on the scene. So that was the world of journalism. Anyway, so those are the things today. Princess Diana Memorial, Doris Day idolisation, and Sir Bernard Ingram, who came a cropper in some police station in London. Anyway, thanks for watching. Leave a comment if you've got any to make, by all means. Thanks for following, and subscribe. I don't know if you can subscribe to the channel, but if you do, that would be great. If not, mind there you go.